Hey guys, today I just thought we'd take a quick look at this 1.5 amp hour Milwaukee battery pack. This pack belongs to a guy that just mentioned he got it brand new and put his name and stuff on it, and then he realized it wouldn't even take the first charge. And checking across the terminals, we see 2.5 volts. So I think this battery has just sat there too long in a store. We'll just use a T10 security bit and take these 4 screws out. We do have the stickers on the side that's holding after we take those 4 out. But if we decide to boost this pack, it's just like I've said in many videos, I don't like to boost a pack or jump a pack out if you don't know exactly what kind of shape your cells are in. So it looks like, just like we were getting 2.5 volts, it looks like they're all at that 0.5 volt level. So they're all very balanced. So I'm just gonna bring up on my supply and just bring it up really, really slow. And we'll just see what kind of condition the cells are in. But I was interested in looking at this battery and doing a quick video because I have several Milwaukee batteries, probably about 10. But I will say that Milwaukee is one of those packs that I have not had to work on yet. Still made by TTI, but it's just a different platform, and the batteries just don't seem to be near as problematic in my opinion. I'm going to cut my current down to about 1 amp and just let this come up slowly. I'll go across it with up to 20 volts at 1 amp, which is going to be down to 2.5, 3 volts till it pulls up. And I'll be able to go across my cells and individually monitor those. So this is going to be our plus. Just to double check there, we are definitely going over to our plus cell. This should be going over to our minus. So we're at roughly 1 amp on the supply, and we'll just hang out there until it actually rises on up a little bit. Usually, if those cells are not in bad shape, they'll bounce back up over 2 volts really quick. And apparently these did. It reached 15 volts really, really quickly, even at 1 amp. So to me, this is just the safest way to do it, right? If you're gonna try to get a pack back and revive it, you want to do so while you're monitoring your individual cells. And you want to do it with regulated current. Now, if any of these were still close to 0.5 volt or even 1 volt, I would stop this process. But they're all coming up very, very equally. We might get lucky, and a lot of capacity might be fine in this pack. So, in this situation, if you bought it yourself, if you had a store receipt, you could, of course, take it back to the store. But this is one of those odd cases where it was a new pack and the package would have been sitting around a while, and they didn't actually buy it from a retail store. So sometimes you just run into a real similar situation. So we're just going to let this charge up for a little while, and we'll come back and check it out. So back now, after about 10 minutes of charging up, we're at close to 18 volts overall here, and we're at about 3.5 on the cells, and I'm really happy at how balanced these are. What I want to do now is just bring over a factory charger, because I definitely gotten this to the point where it should be okay to charge. And just with it sitting here, I'm going to make sure it ain't dropping like a rock, and that's pretty steady. So that's a good sign. I like it. I'll slide this back in here. We'll put it on the charger. Let's see, I want to get it where you can see the light on here as well as this one. We'll be back in a few minutes. We'll just see how the battery charges up. So about 15 minutes later, guys, and we over 75%. If you can see the light there, we get right at 3.9. So we're not far from 100%. .9. That's very, very well balanced and getting close to fully charged. We'll let it charge a few more minutes and we'll come back and check on it. All right, guys, back now. We are fully charged. Get this off of here. There we go. see what our cells look like right quick. Perfect. Oh yeah, that's awesome. So we probably got lucky with this one. So I'm just going to put this pack back together. Usually I do go over a little bit of information about the boards and how the packs are set up. And honestly, with Milwaukee, this is the first one I've been into. Like I mentioned, I own several, but I hadn't had to work on many. I really hadn't had to work on any at all. So we see our little thermistor on the board here, maybe. If you can see that stuck down here. Our microcontrollers, indicator lights, or fuel gauge, where the individual cells come in to monitor, but it's a good conformal coating on the board, and not real familiar with the rest of it, but they really do make a good sound battery pack. So guys, before we end the video and I put the screws back in it, I'm going to bring over my battery capacity tester and we'll let this run through a capacity check. And I have this set at 13.5 volts, so as soon as it gets equal to or below 13.5 volts, it's going to cut off and give us our amp hour rating of the battery. As soon as I get above a half an amp, this test will start. I'm going to put about a 1.5 amp load. I think that's pretty fair. So that should take somewhere close to an hour to finish up. And we'll be back and we'll see how it did. So just as a checkup here, it's been about 22 minutes and we're still at 18.7 volts. So we already made it to almost 0.6 amp hour. So the pack is actually looking like the cells are in pretty good shape. We'll just keep this test going and make sure they don't drop off. And we'll see how it finishes up. So there we go. We're at a cutoff. Cut this down so it don't start back. 1.43 amp hours, so it ran for 56 minutes at a little over 1.5 amps. So we got almost full capacity out of this thing, so I think that's fantastic. And after we load tested the battery or capacity tested it, we want to check it after it's run down and see how balanced the cells are. If you can see that, we're at 3.37, almost 3.37, 3.35, looking pretty good, 3.37, and 3.37, so that is very good. I'll definitely take that. So just keep that in mind if you find one maybe at a flea market or something like that, even though it's new. They ship these a lot of times with at least less than 50%, sometimes less than 30% charge, because lithiums do store better when they're not fully charged. So every now and then you might find one that's new that has went down too low. And sometimes lithium cells don't recover well from that. As we know, about 2.7 is the minimum on most typically. So you drop below 2.7 volts per cell, it's just not good for the cell. And sometimes they just don't want to recover from it. I'm just going to put the T10 security screws back in here. And I think this battery is going to have a little more life to it. So I hope you like this video today. We'll just look inside of this red lithium 1.5 amp hour M18 Milwaukee battery. If you like the video today, please like, share, subscribe, and thanks for watching.